and the Foxboro Warriors, we'd like to take a few minutes to honor our senior players before doing our starting lineups and national anthem. Our first senior, Chris Amable, and his brother, Carl. Next, we have Dan Bassler and his parents Cheryl and Jim. Next, we have Nick Beagle and his parents Sonia and Jim. Our next senior is Joe Costa and his parents Tracy and Phil. Next up is Matty Garcia and his parents Valerie and Tom. Our next senior is Brian Gardner and his parents Michelle and Bruce. Our next senior, Dan Lowy and his parents Chris and Kathy. Next, we have Billy Ozone and his mother, Reem. Our next senior is Will Regan and his parents Jamie and John. And last but not least, Shane Vandenboom and his parents Kathy and Carl. Congratulations to our Warriors seniors and parents on 4 great years. Good luck the rest of the way. captain's meeting with the officials, we will be announcing starting lineups. Ventura. Number 10, Jordan Borges. Number 3, Lucas Catano. Number 8, Tiago Carvalho. Number 18, Leo Coelho. Number 16, Lucas Da Silva. Number 11, Wallason de Oliveira. Number 4, Tiago Philadelphia. Number 2, Joey Madden. Number 9, Joao Vitor Nieva. And number 1, Josh Orlana.
Good afternoon, soccer fans, and welcome to another Foxboro Cable Access production of Foxboro High School Boys Varsity Soccer. Today, facing off against the Milford Scarlet Hawks. Alongside John Regan, this is Bruce Gardner.
Foxboro Warriors.
And we're ready for the Warrior starting lineup. Head coach Joe Franchino.
Number 1, Nick Penders.
Sophomore Nick Penders, starting goalkeeper today.
Number 2, Will Regan.
Senior Will Regan. Normally plays in the backfield.
Number 4, Joey Cusack.
Midfielder, Joe Cusack.
Number 5, Captain Matty Garcia.
Senior Matt Garcia. Alternates between a fullback
7,
position and
Billy
a forward
Ozone.
position. Senior Billy Ozone, another starting fullback.
Number 8, Dan Bassler.
Midfielder, senior Dan Basler.
Number 9, Captain Shane Vandenboom.
Captain Shane Vandenboom, a senior, one of our strikers.
Number 10, Dylan Barrera.
Another striker, Dylan Barrera.
Number 13, Chris Amable.
Senior Chris Amable, typically starts in the center back.
Number 15, Captain Nick Beagle.
Attacking midfielder and captain, senior Nick Beagle.
And number 17, Ronnie McClellan.
And the normal central defensive midfielder, Ron McClellan.
If you could please rise for the singing of our national anthem, which will be sung by Foxboro student Julia McClellan.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight
job by Foxboro High School student Julia McClellan.
Thank you. Good luck to both teams.
Don't know if we had full coverage on senior night here at the Ahern Middle School field, but we have two other seniors not in the starting lineup who are substitution players today, both of whom have seen starting time this season. Brian Gardner, senior center back, and Dan Lowy, another senior fullback. John, what do you look forward to in tonight's game?
Well, I think one of the interesting things here is that Foxboro had a game last night, a real wild 3-3 affair against Milton, whereas Milford has not played for 6 days. So we'll have to see what effect that has. Could be positive for Foxboro in that they'll be warmed up, or it could be a tough second half. We'll have to see. Milford very quick in transition.
Well, and Coach Franchino, not known to sub very often. We see him get out-subbed, if you will, by other teams who keep a lot of players fresh. Coach Franchino prefers to go with about 11 or 12, maybe 13 players typically. So we'll see. As you mentioned, these boys all played last night. It was a tough game. We'll see if they have hop in their step today or if we get a few more subs off the bench.
And I'm curious to see what Coach Franchino does. We had a tough 4-0 loss in Milford where they really took the play to us. He did make some adjustments midway in that game, and I'm seeing what adjustments he uses here to carry over. I think he's going to look for some speed at center back to try and counter Milford, and we'll see if he does anything differently in terms of the formation.
Yeah, you mentioned that first game was all Milford, and Milford's a really strong team this year in the Davenport division. Their record entering today's contest, they are 7 wins, 1 loss, 2 ties, 8 wins if you count non-division games. They've scored 30 goals and only given up 6, so they're very stingy. At first place, as I mentioned, Foxboro enters the game in 4th place in the Davenport division with a record of 4-5-1 or 5-5-2 overall, right at the 500 mark overall. They have 36 goals for. So they've actually scored more goals than Milford, yeah. But they've got 24 goals against. So we'll see how it goes. But the Warriors are certainly up against a very competitive and very talented team here in the 2018 version of the Milford Scarlet Hawks.
And it's the first Milford team in 5 years to make the MIAA playoffs. They've already clinched a spot in the playoffs. They're also on a bit of a defensive hot streak. They have 19 goals scored in their last 6 games, but only 1 allowed. So it will pose a challenge for our offensive players, but we do have the skill, I think, to maybe get a few through.
Just getting ready for the opening kick here. We'll see if this holds true to form, but one slight change I see from Coach Franchino is he's got Nick Beagle in the midfield, almost looking like a defensive midfielder, at least in the initial alignment, alongside Ronnie McClellan. We have Dylan Barrera and Shane Vandenboom going to work up top. Dan Basler perhaps as well here on the close side. Joe Cusack lining up behind them, probably in the attacking mid position. But we're underway here. It's a beautiful fall day, and Foxboro Warriors looking for a big upset win to help them continue to get beyond 500 and hope to secure a similar MIAA tournament spot that, as John mentioned, Milford has already achieved. Ball goes out of bounds on the far side. It's going to be a Milford throw. One of the first things I look for, John, is who has the long throw and the dangerous throws from our opponents.
Right, taking the throw is Joey Madden, who's the Hockomock 800-meter champion.
Ball's fought for at the top of the box. Chris Amable with a tackle. And Matt Garcia clears it a few yards up. Shane Vandenboom's on the ball. We saw Milford with a tremendous amount of speed in the first game there at Milford. They really worked the ball upfield and through our midfield very quickly. As John mentioned, we're going to have to counter with some speed of our own to stay pace with them in this match.
I like putting Nick Beagle at defensive midfield. He played there a lot last year and had a great final regular season game against North Attleboro, was cited by the North Attleboro coach.
Yeah, and we'll see if that holds. Right now, Nick's moving up in front of Ronnie, so that may have just been a little decoy there at the starting alignment. Ball's off Dan Basler here on the near side. Throw in by Milford. Beagle wins the head. He's our top aerial specialist. Ball's now on the foot of Dylan Barrera. Can't sneak it through to Shane Vandenboom. Those two are very crafty together. Back to Matt Garcia, who had a tremendous game yesterday against Milton. Ball's now out to Billy Ozone. to Beagle. Beagle to Vandenboom, looking back for Beagle. Milford clogs that up nicely.
What I've seen of Milford, they'll let you have things on the outside a bit, but they really clog up the middle nicely, make it tough to get good shots.
Yeah, I talked about that 6 goals against. That's across 11 games, so about a half a goal a game average. So it's going to be tough. Foxboro's going to have to find some ways to find a chink in the armor against Milford. This is the first of a doubleheader here tonight. It's senior night for the boys varsity here, and it'll be senior night for the girls varsity facing off right after this one.
And watch Milford, they'll try and play it up to number 11, Wallison de Oliveira, who is the leading scorer in the Hockomock League.
How many goals did he have in the first match, John? Did he have 3 or so?
I thought he had 3. I think the press said he had 4, so it was 3 or 4.
So clearly someone to mark. Hopefully your son has a big game on him, John.
We'll see.
It's a proud night for all the senior parents here. A lot of these boys have been playing together. Our 2 boys have been playing together for a number of years, alongside several others of these seniors. Tough to make senior night against the first place Milford team, but the schedule is what it is, and this was the best night. This was our last late start, if you will, 5 o'clock, not even that late. But gave the parents an opportunity to recognize their sons, and of course the parents should be recognized as well. A lot of driving, a lot of supporting, and a lot of cheering by the senior parents. This is the 2nd class in a row that Foxboro's had a good number of seniors who've played and worked well together. Matt Garcia now with the throw. Both teams still feeling each other out. 3.5 minutes in, we play 40-minute halves in high school soccer.
One thing I see already is I do like the fact this game is played on the grass. I think it's slowed the game down a little bit, which does play to our advantage.
Yeah, that's a great point. I was thinking the same thing, John. We played on Milford's turf the first time we played them. Grass will slow them down a bit, and we like the Martinelli field here. It's closest thing to a home field we've had. There's Nick Beagle with a chance that skies over the top. But
three points in Gillette, but no points here.
This is the closest thing we've had to a home field. We're playing at the middle school. Normally our home field would be the turf field at the high school. It's having construction all around it. Okay, here's a play. Here's it, bounces out to Beagle. He takes it on the volley, just can't quite get over the top of it. Would love to see him get just a little bit more over that ball low. One of the things we see a lot in high school soccer is guys trying to plow the ball instead of placing. That was a tough one. You have to give Nick credit. He was taking that on the volley. Ron McClellan here. Shoulders the ball. That's legal. Back to Will Regan. Left-footed clear. Can't find Cusack.
Excellent play by Billy. Leo Coelho is the player that Billy just took the ball from. Very skillful sophomore from Milford.
Yeah, Coach Ozone, Billy Ozone playing for Coach Franchino. Coach Franchino prefers a very physical style player. And he's not afraid to have his players take fouls. He likes to set a tone, much the way I believe he played when he was with the Revolution. Dylan Barrera now can't quite collect.
Here's where you have to watch Milford in the transition. Very quick.
Regan to Cusack, can't keep possession. Amiable looking downtown for Barrera, trying to find his partner, Vandenboom. Milford comes away with it, plays for the corner, a little too wide. Mentioned that Foxboro is trying to get the 500 status or better achieved for the season. As I talked about, overall right now, they are exactly at 500. They're at 5-5-2 with 5 games remaining after this one. So every point now is important for the Warriors to have a chance at tournament play. Tough start to the season for the Warriors. Some injuries. A red card cost us a player for a couple of games. We've got young goaltending this year. We've got, should have mentioned this, I hadn't yet. We've got sophomore Nick Penders in net. Perhaps I mentioned his name. I probably did in the starting lineup. I think I did, but sorry about that, Nick. But these goaltenders, the other one, Derek Axon, a freshman, they're learning as they go. So a very senior team out in front of them, but some youth in the net. And we've seen that cost us a goal here or there just as the boys get used to it. Cost us one last night in Milton. Could have been a victory, which would have been important points. But these guys will get better as they go, and you can see their confidence building every game.
Some good possession here by Foxboro. And that's a foul.
Matt Garcia will draw a lot of fouls. He's not the tallest player, but he's very quick. I always like to say Matty can turn a corner with the best of them, and if he gets leaned on, he's a smart player too. He'll go down and draw that call. Here's Will Regan serving it up. Looking for Barrera, who cannot win the header. There's some sun right now down in that Milford goal. I don't believe when Foxboro is defending that end, so nice opportunity here for Foxboro. Maybe put something up there where it's tough to see. Garcia with the long throw in. Can't find Beagle.
Oh, no.
Fell to Cusack.
Now here we go in transition. We have to watch this. Joey Madden, Will Regan. Yes.
Will plays it nicely off of the Milford player.
You could watch those two run indoors at the 1,000 meters. They're competitors at track as well as soccer.
Foul against Milford against Nick Beagle, who is tracking back nicely. Nick's a great runner. He'll run all day long up and down this field. Here's the foul. Nick's in position. Yeah, I couldn't do a whole lot to get past him, and there's no harm for Milford taking a foul that deep in the Foxboro area. So Will Regan on the ball. So far, Milford has the header advantage, so Foxboro will do well to keep the ball on the ground as much as possible.
Nice ball.
McClellan finds Vandenboom. Can't make a move. Basler can't quite get there. Ozone steps in, intercepts.
Get it.
And plays it off the Milford player. Shane Vandenboom trying to find space. You can see how good a job Milford does clogging that up. So just about 10 minutes in, and John, I wouldn't say we've seen a quality scoring chance on either side yet.
No, not at all. I think Coach Franchino's strategy is to have Chris Amiable man mark Wallace and Oliveira, number 11. So we'll see how that goes. So far, it's working quite well for us.
There's a chip pass from Cusack looking for Basler down in the corner. Basler can't corral it, and it's a goal kick. Yeah, I think that's a good idea to put a body on the big guy up top for Milford.
Yeah. Looks like a basketball if you look, with Chris in front and Willie behind him, almost like a front and back a player. You know, they do that against the superstars in basketball.
So far, I like the job Foxboro's doing in the midfield. As I mentioned, Milford ran right through us last game, and so far, our spacing's been decent, and I'm not sure I've seen any real advantage there. That's going to be important.
It's something to keep an eye on as the game goes on, because as I said, all of these players played full games last night. So
Dylan Barrera with a nice touch flick. Well defended. Basler on a quick throw. Nope, it's going to hand it back to Garcia and set up. Ronnie McClellan open if he wants to go backwards, but he chooses to look for Barrera. Barrera is the leading scorer for the Warriors this year. He's had tremendous output in a couple of games, John. What do you have, 7 goals, 6 goals?
6 goals in one, 5 in another, and he's the leading goal scorer in the Hockomock League.
Got a timeout to White. So only 11 minutes in, and Milford's going to make some adjustments.
I think that's a good sign for us. that they took the timeout so early, because obviously what we're doing is working. I like the pace of the game, a little slower, slower pace, and we're holding up in transition. Again, I think that's the one thing we need to do.
That's right. So we've kind of painted the theme here in the broadcast about how Milford's all set for their post-season tournament play, and Foxboro's right on the bubble. So let's take a look at the 5 remaining games, John. They've got Stoughton coming up on Friday, and Stoughton is winless, so we'd like to hope that that's a W for the Warriors. They've got Sharon twice, and Sharon only has 1 win. So that could potentially be 3 wins that the Warriors could hope for.
Correct. I think the one thing about Sharon, and I do think our playoff chances really come down to the 2 Sharon games. And I think we need to be careful. Their record is not good. They only have 1 win. But they have only given up 20 goals, and they've had a number of close games and ties against some pretty strong teams.
That's a good point. And the other 2 remaining games for the Warriors, North Attleboro and Canton. North Attleboro beat Warriors in the first match 2-1. And Canton was a terrific draw. But Canton sits in North Attleboro, actually. They currently both sit tied for 2nd place in the Davenport. So 3 games that we would hope to put a W next to. 2 games that'll be pretty highly contested, I suspect. Regardless, Foxboro needs to go at least 500 here and ideally pick up a win or 2. And I don't think they'd even mind a tie against this one, John.
Well, I'm rooting for Canton to win out and get in the playoffs before their game with us, so they may be a bit less motivated.
That's good thinking. All right, back in play. Billy Ozone competes in the air. Shane Vandenboom picks up the loose ball. He's got speed down the left, makes a nice move, and then miss kick with the left foot cross. Foxboro needs to play a clean game. You know, they work very hard, but each game you could point to a miscue here or a defensive man being beaten there, and Shane. Here's Shane coming down the left side. Great crossover, and then just can't get his feet under him to make a solid contact on that cross. Ron McClellan gets a boot in and gets the ball to Regan. Regan's over to Ozone. Ozone's back to Regan.
Go.
Give away there. Will Regan strong left foot. Joe Cusack called for taking down a guy twice his size. Now Milford with a little speed down the right side. Cut back.
Yes, Coelho, good player. Nice cross.
Wide open Milford player. Nick Beagle just 2 steps behind on the coverage.
Want to give a shout out to Leo Coelho, number 18 from Milford, sophomore. Last year as a freshman, just really impressed me. Very fast, very skillful.
You can see on that replay, Nick just a step or 2 behind the play, and Warriors are fortunate that wasn't buried. First quality scoring chance of the game by Mike.
Agree. But unlike the game in Milford, you get a sense of a slower pace here, which again, I do think benefits us.
Yeah, we've lobbied hard as a booster group to get more games on this grass field. And turf is, I should say a field, is hard to come by this fall with the construction going on around the high school turf field. I don't envy the AD's task, but boy, the more games we can get on grass, the better. Not bad defending. Ozone got turned a little bit. He's got to just keep his body squared up in front of the players, but fortunately kept him outside in a in a tough angle position.
I think the Milford forward went for the shot rather than the pass.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nice big play up off the left foot. Ronnie McClellan in coverage. Will Regan there to clean up. Couldn't ask for a nicer day, huh, John?
No, could not. Watch for the long throw in here. Milford loves that.
Yeah, not as long
Nice
as I would have
kick.
thought.
Right.
Chris Amable wins that one.
I don't think it was as long as their coach wanted.
Both teams fighting to get position. Nick Beagle comes out of there with it. Basler can't hold possession. Cusack in chase. Shane Vandenboom almost gets there, not quite. And Beagle is staying a little further back, which is helping the Warriors so far.
I think that's smart coaching on Coach Franchino's part.
Beagle with just enough to get it over to McClellan, who's got a little bit of space. Ozone's out here alone. Can't connect.
Still good, still good.
One thing that Milford does really well is they settle the ball with their chest, not always opting to head it. They've done some nice work with that. You can always learn a few things from watching the different teams, some techniques.
Step in front.
Regan able to get free and get a foot on the ball and find Dan Basler, who's now looking for a running Dylan Barrera. He's got position.
Oh, nice idea.
Yeah, tried right side, outside of the foot, I should say, to Boom. Could not connect. Beagle's on the ball now. Foxboro continuing to do all right in the midfield. That's a big improvement over last game.
Well, again, as I said, last year's last regular season game against North Attleboro, Nick Beagle played defensive midfield, had an outstanding game, was mentioned in the newspaper by the North Attleboro coach. So he's familiar with that position. It's just he's also so good at scoring, we like him up front too.
Opportunity here for Milford to put in a dangerous ball to the top of Nick Pender's box. Ronnie McClellan gets a boot on it. Ozone takes a bad foul there at the top of the box. You got to know where to play physical and where to be a little careful.
Chris Amiable with some nice marking on the Milford forward on that play. Didn't lose sight of what he's supposed to be doing.
Just about at the midway point here of the first half with the score Foxboro 0, Milford 0.
I think this one's going on net.
That was a clever play. He was the Milford attacker touched the ball to a Milford attacker who had just finished coincidentally tying his shoe and popped up at the right time to be in pace and blast it. Here's the touch. Here comes the blast. Shane Vandenboom, Nick Beagle combining, I guess, on the block. Ball's a corner, played in. Ozone's on his man. Regan with a good clear. Milford starting to get some sustained pressure here, but Nick Beagle takes it off a foot and then unfortunately gives it right back away.
Well, see, that play right there is the value of dropping Nick into that defensive midfielder role.
Referee didn't see the handball that the Foxboro Warriors wanted called against Milford. So the ball goes over to Milford on a throw-in. Here's the long throw right in front.
Whoa. Oh!
Matt Garcia and then Chris Amiable able to deflect that shot for keeper Penders.
Chris Amiable with a nice kick save.
Here's the replay. Get that long throw, longest one we've seen yet. goes off of Garcia's thigh and then head. Falls to a Milford player who launches a really well-struck volley, but hits Amiable, thankfully, and deflects out of trouble. Milford sustained pressure now, still inside the Foxboro box. Joey Cusack from his midfield position back to help, and now 2 players up front for Foxboro. Pereira's trying to find Vandenboom. Finally does. Vandenboom's looking to get it back for a runner, but there's no one in the middle. Ooh, opportunity Foxboro. Vandenboom played it into the middle. There were 3 Milford defenders there, but the one who got the ball misplayed it. Here's the play from Vandenboom. Got 3 defenders there. One plays it off another. It falls to Dan Basler. He just can't do a whole lot with it. Joe Cusack pounds the turf in frustration. They know there won't be many opportunities against this defense. John, have you picked up anything that Milford may have talked about in that timeout they took?
I think they pushed their defenders up a little bit more, and I think that's led to increased possession on their part, but on the other hand, it led to a nice breakaway on ours.
Yeah, that could be, because you're right, they had their best sustained pressure since that timeout. Yet I still see 4 players back here as Foxboro's trying to break through the middle. Beagles in chase. Tim Baines into the game now at the right fullback position.
Tim's had a good year. He's been solid back there really throughout the year after joining the team this year from JV last year.
Dan Basler came off the field when Bain came on. That pushed Garcia up. Billy Ozone's got a little ding in a knee, so here comes Will Morrison. Looks like Morrison and Amiable are going to play in the middle, and Regan may play in the left side, although Will's now making a run over toward the throw, so we'll see how the shape takes form once we move upfield. But first, defend that long Milford throw-in. Shot in on net. Penders is there, not too tough. Definitely advantage Milford, however, since the timeout.
Right.
Penders is going to need a big game, I suspect. Keep Foxboro level in this one. Yeah, so we got Regan out here now on the left side. Coach likes him there because he can run, but not sure the commentators agree. At least the one to my right.
Now. Coach is always right.
So we'll see if Regan can add a little to the attack. He did a nice job back there in the center back / sweeper position for the first 20 minutes. Coach has used several players back there. Dan Lowy's played back there. Brian Gardner started the season back there. He's got a lot of options in the back. The forwards have pretty much stayed the same, and midfielders have pretty much stayed the same the bulk of the season. Joe Cusack finds the ball, looks for a Dylan Barrera head ball, doesn't connect. Dylan Barrera keeps the ball in play. He's got Matt Garcia with time.
Oh!
Dylan Barrera, Milford defender, trying to shield the ball out of bounds, but Barrera got there first and found. He finds Garcia open, able to collect the ball and take a drive at it. Had Shane Vandenboom open, and the ball just sails wide, far side.
Dylan's such a resourceful player, always fighting hard and opportunistic, I think is the word. That's the word I was looking for.
Good choice, yeah, I would agree. Tim Bain getting his first touches. Finds Garcia, finds Barrera. Chip back to Garcia.
Done.
Garcia with a chance.
Oh.
And for the second time in the last minute or so, Matt Garcia with a great opportunity.
Beautiful play.
Nice job by the Milford defender to come out and force Garcia to hit that wide, but we see dividends already being paid by Matt Garcia moving forward. And as we mentioned, he had a terrific game yesterday in that same right forward position.
Absolutely, was my man of the match last night.
Garcia called for a little push there. Milford with the kick coming out of their defensive end. Chris Amable with a head on it to Regan. Giveaway. Coming down now, attacking the right side. Milford's patient on the ball. Regan wins it back. Looking for what he wants to do. Milford throw. Long throw fell to a Milford foot, but they couldn't quite get the scoring touch they wanted.
The last 5 minutes, Foxboro seems to have stabilized the game. I was a little worried before that with the sustained Milford possession.
Yeah, it seems like they've stabilized a little bit. That last Milford chance fell to a player, couldn't put it away. Happy to see that ball go wide. Now the ball's to Ronnie McClellan, who finds Will Regan wide open here on the near side. Regan looks for Beagle. Clever little touch to Joe Cusack. But they can't control it. Now it's going back Milford's way. Shane Vandenboom working hard, working back in and knock the ball out of play.
Great play by Shane. You're going to need all of your players to come back and help out in a game like this.
Foxboro usually leave Dylan Barrera up top, but the two wing forwards, in this case Garcia and Vandenboom, they'll get back and help as needed. Milford with a chance again. Dribble it out of bounds over the goal line. Foxboro goal kick. So far, so good. Foxboro back and forth. 11.5 minutes left here in the first half at the Jack Martinelli Field at the Ahern Middle School in Foxboro. Two Davenport teams working hard. Should say Davenport and yeah, both Davenport teams. Milford's in the Davenport. Big enough school, John. I thought for a minute maybe Kelly Rex, but
yeah, I do believe the largest school in the division.
Will Morrison sends a ball in, finds Shane Vandenboom's head. Dylan Barrera can't quite get high enough to get it off the keeper's hands.
Nice play by the Milford keeper. He's the leading goalkeeper for goals against average at .66 in the season. So.
No danger there. Slow roller wide of Nick Penders. Penders taking no chances. Tim Bain with a cross in the Foxboro defensive third. Regan collects, finds Amable. Clears it, but Milford wins the header. Falls to McClellan. Back toward Tim Bain. Ball's out of bounds off Milford. Under 10 here in the first half. Tim Bain with the ball. Foxboro scoreless with Milford.
Notice how the Milford defense is collapsing on the side of the field. If we could reverse the field, we may have something against them.
Got a little push in the back there, I believe it was. So Milford's going to take a direct kick play. From that spot on the field, can probably get it to the top of the box in front of Nick Penders. Milford has a lot of size, John.
A lot of size, a lot of skill, and coach is aware of that. They've been doing a great job of marking their leading scorer, number 11. He double marked on that play, which was a good idea.
Will Morrison now with a little room, finds Matt Garcia along the touchline. Plays it back to Timmy Bain. Franchino likes to play out of the back when he can. Get those fullbacks involved.
Got to reverse the field for Foxboro, though. If you look on the left side of the field, there's no defenders.
Hard to find when you got 3 bodies on you, in this case, Nick Beagle.
Good point.
But you're right, there's some space. Joe Cusack competing for that 50-50 ball. Falls to Beagle, but he can't collect it. Milford will get it across to this side. Will Regan playing hard defense. Had his hands on his back, but not sure that was a real aggressive foul. Nonetheless, the yellow shirts win.
That's even a foul in the Regan household.
Joe Cusack calling for the ball. Can't connect. Nick Beagle, nice takeaway. Trying to chip shot to Matt Garcia up the right side. Got Barrera and Vandenboom with him, and a line of midfielders following.
Oh!
Garcia keeps it in, plays it in front of the net, but cleared away by the Milford defender.
Some fancy footwork by the...
Milford finds a seam between Amiable and Regan, but Regan collects. Drives it upfield. Milford starting to push numbers forward. Looking for their main man up there in the center. He's got Will Morrison on him. Morrison's able to get a toe on it and knock it out for a Milford corner. Milford with a few subs in. Fresh bodies.
Yeah, and those players who just went out will have a nice break because they probably won't come in. They'll get this break in 6 minutes and then halftime and come in rested and refreshed for the second half.
Like to see us do a little more of the same. A lot of work on our guys. It's not the coach's style. Tim Bain takes 30 yards on the throw, gets another throw, moving the ball upfield. Cusack finds Beagle. He can't hang on to it, and unfortunately gets a leg on Milford's number 9. That's going to set up Milford with a kick from the 40-yard line. There's the ball, comes to Beagle. As he goes to collect the touch, he gets a leg out in front of the Milford player.
Nick's having a strong half, one of the main reasons why Milford hasn't scored.
Yeah, he's one of our best players, Captain Nick Beagle. Ooh. Ball up. Fell off one Milford player to another redirect. Fortunately, it wasn't directed too much, and Penders was able to grab it. Under 5 minutes here in the first half. Remaining. Dylan Barrera heads it towards the middle, but no one there. Regan back to Amiable. Finds Vandenboom. Nice touch to collect it under control on the ground. Gets a running Nick Beagle. He's got Cusack up top. Foxboro's got a little something here. Vandenboom elects to go far side. Tim Bain didn't really go anywhere, but Joe Cusack able to collect and find Beagle again. Nice opportunity here. Nick Beagle deflected. Matt Garcia with a rifle. Diving save. Milford defenders calling for an offside there. Referee did not agree. Matt Garcia is Beagle in traffic. Gets deflected over to Garcia, who fires a hard shot. Nice connection. Matty Garcia, third good quality shot from Matt Garcia this half since he's moved forward.
With all due respect to Milford, you have to keep playing. all raising your hands and not playing defense.
Joe Cusack on the corner, finds Barrera, and then finds Beagle, but that Milford defense clogging up the shot lanes. Chris Amble, last man back for Foxboro with the ball, surveying. Puts it down deep in the right corner, looking for Garcia and Vandenboom. Cusack gets under control and finds Bain. Nice move to get past Joe Cusack, and now Milford's in transition. However, they give it right back to Foxboro. Penders playing it out to Regan. Far side referee saw a shirt grab against Will Regan. Foxboro will take this kick. Will Morrison. Regan finds Dylan Barrera, can't control it. Will Morrison now with a little bit of space. Hands it off to Cusack. Milford deflects that. Ronnie McClellan couldn't maintain control. Got some elbows flying there. This will give Milford a kick and another opportune spot for them. Yeah, Ronnie playing a little too much of the body twice there. Got away with it the first time, not the second. Milford stacking everybody but one player over to Nick Pender's right side. That's where the service comes. Runs towards Penders. A great head ball. Finds the upper right corner to Nick Pender's left. Upper left corner for the keeper. And it's 1 Milford at the 2-minute mark. Very nicely served ball. We had a runner. He was not goal side. And Milford able to collect that head.
Number 10 for Milford, Jordan Borges with the goal.
Live by the sword, die by the sword, John. Coach Franchino likes the aggressive play, but Ronnie McClellan getting called for that double hit there gives Milford, unfortunately, a very good opportunity. And they're a good enough team, they can finish that, and they did. Not a lot Penders could do. Perfectly placed head ball. A little disappointing for the Warriors after a pretty good half.
Yeah, I was hoping to get into the half. Always tough to give up a goal right before half. Hoping to get in the half at least scoreless. Have to regroup and come out strong.
Dylan Barrera getting a little counseling from the referee about how he'd like to see him play or not play the rest of the match. Plenty of time for Foxboro. Milford player does a nice job getting away from Shane Vandenboom and Joe Cusack. Plays it forward. Nice heel touch. Milford player couldn't quite collect it. Creative though. Little chip by Milford. Amiable, nice position. Bain finds Beagle, who's looking to get it back to Tim Bain. Dylan Barrera, nice chest direct to Matt Garcia. Foxboro throw, they're hustling now. The referees have the official time on the field, but we know the half is winding down here. Shane Vandenboom tries a little heel play of his own, doesn't quite work.
What was unfortunate about the goal is it came at a period of some pretty even play. There was a time when Milford had about a 10-minute advantage, and we held them off then. But the goal came when it seemed pretty even. So.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Foxboro perhaps one last throw in here before halftime. Matt Garcia gets ahead on it, falls in front of the Milford keeper, but his defender's there to clear it away.
Oh.
No, over the top.
Over the top.
Over the top.
Oh.
Ball fell to Nick Beagle. Beagle found Vandenboom. And here it is on the replay. Vandenboom with a nice chip back to Barrera. Head ball just over the top. Foxboro's had some chances.
Definitely had some chances.
Can't quite finish it yet. There's the half. John, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, I think it was a good half for Foxboro, except, of course, for that last few minutes. There was a time in the middle of the half when I thought, oh, dear, the wheels are coming off the wagon, but Foxboro regrouped. I'm very concerned, though, about the lack of subbing versus Milford. And as the game goes on, I think that may be a factor.
Yeah, I think we saw the grass slow down the play. We talked about that would be to Foxboro's advantage, and it was. It was really a lot of even play there in the first half. But that physical play got us in trouble there with that kick, and I think we're going to have to be careful with that as well. So you're right, lack of subbing, endurance against a tough Milford team, and then the chippiness, got to be a little careful when they are in our defensive third. In any event, Foxboro's still in it, 1-0. We'll break for halftime here at the Martinelli Field. We'll be back soon for soccer, second half, Foxboro versus Milford. And we're back, second half soccer action. Foxboro hosting Milford. Not surprisingly, Coach Franchino has the same players still on the field. Ronnie McClellan throwing that elbow.
Yeah, we have to watch this again, another set piece, and that's where we've seen Milford really dangerous.
Yep, no need to throw the elbow there. Yeah, that's not a soccer play.
Oh.
Beagle, nice win out of the air with the head. Long shot by Milford, just skies over the top. Penders was out a little bit. So that was not a poor choice.
Yeah,
Cusack was there. But
that's number 11, Leo Quayle for Milford. Very skillful sophomore. Dangerous ball.
Cleared out by Will Morrison. Milford with the early momentum here in the second half.
Some good team defense by Foxboro there, but definitely we see them on our heels right now.
Well, you talked about how the endurance would be in the second half. You thought especially, John, at the top of the broadcast. So we'll see how that plays out. Matt Garcia, diminutive Matt Garcia, always seems to win the ball in the air, but comes to Milford. Fortunately, a weak strike goes directly to Penders. Yeah, wide open player, a lot of net to shoot for. Kind of a weak one hopper into the Foxboro keeper. Milford right back on attack again. Will Regan out there in coverage. Clearance comes in, wide open player. That's the play, John, that always bothers me as a defensive-minded player and coach. That guy's wide open, nobody goal side. We're lucky he didn't put it away.
We're very lucky. We've done a good job in the first half on him, but definitely lost him there.
Yep, watch him get a step there, and we got Will Morrison and Ronnie McClellan just kind of watching the play. Foxboro's fortunate.
Very.
They got to pick it up a little bit. Great speed out of the back for Milford.
There's Joey Madden, the Hockomock 800-meter champion.
Will Regan slowed him enough for, Will Morrison slowed him enough for Will Regan to knock the ball out of bounds. But that was about an 80-yard run at full sprint, John, with the ball out in front of him.
He's an incredible athlete, a senior athlete who, again, as I said, was the 800-meter outdoor champion for the Hockomock and probably one of the favorites for the state title this year coming up in the track season.
Well, we saw it on display there, and it gives Milford another corner. Falls in. Beagle wins it. Falls to a Milford player. He's got Matt Garcia on him. Makes a nice move past Garcia. Now he's coming in at the keeper. Nick Penders, nice job coming off his line.
Nice play.
Matt Garcia has done to him what he usually does to others.
Nick Penders, great play in goal. People, our tech guys in the truck like that one as well. Great play.
Yep, nice replay, guys. Penders came off his line at just the right moment. That's a nice play by the sophomore keeper. Ball's played in, far post, Beagle again. All Milford here in the start.
Yeah, I fear that the combination of having a game last night and the fact that all of these players are out there again without subs is coming back to bite us right now.
The next goal is a big one. There's the long throw. Beagle again. Garcia is able to get clearance on this one. Milford will get a throw in. Cusack can't get a hold. Milford's coming back one more time. Nick Beagle was in chase. Fortunately, that cross went across the goal mouth. Foxboro's a step behind right now.
Absolutely, and these chances look like ones that were pretty easy to put away. So we hope that doesn't continue.
Yeah, need some fresh bodies for Foxboro. Now Joe Cusack looking up front for Dylan Barrera. Matt Garcia trying to collect. First time Foxboro's gotten it anywhere near the Milford end, and unfortunately Milford comes right back out with it. Now Will Regan intercepts, finds an open Matt Garcia. Nice chest trap, trying to get the ball down. About 4 defenders back there with Dylan Barrera.
Now here we're drawn out. I fear this in transition here. Nice coverage by Nick Beagle, alert play.
Yeah, look at him all the way back.
Yep.
That's because Will Morrison chased all the way up high, did the right thing. And you're right, Beagle, very adept at knowing what's going on. Got back there in Morrison's spot.
Nick can really excel anywhere on the field.
He's one guy, John, that I'm not sure you should ever sub.
Agreed.
Well, I say that because he doesn't get tired.
No?
Nick's a great athlete and never slows down on the field. It's hard to run full tilt the entire 80 minutes of the game. Beagle does it with ease. Regan, nice interception on that pass. Can't find Garcia, plays it up to a Milford player who throws it right back downfield. Morrison now, misspaced. Foxboro's playing a little kickball here. Another sign that they're probably getting a little tired.
I think our best hope here is for some individual magic. We need Shane or Dylan or Nick to just do an individual move, because right now we're not maintaining any possession.
Yeah, that's right. And as we said, the next goal is huge, so it's going to have to happen soon. It has to happen by a blue shirt. There he is again.
Nick Beagle, I know.
Yeah, Foxboro doesn't have their shape or their composure so far in this second half. And that call I thought could have gone either way, John. It goes against Matt Garcia. Both guys scrappy, fighting for it. Here's Garcia. He's got his arm on the guy. I can see that. He was holding him back.
In replay,
Yep.
I could see that.
I saw it. Could have gone either way.
Or it could have been a no call. Wasn't really much.
Milford wins the head off that direct kick, but Penders is able to collect. Finds Tim Bain wide open out here. He finds Beagle. Beagle's got some space. Tries a little chip, a little strong, a little strong. At least we strung 2 passes together there. Here's Beagle in space. We see this every game where Nick usually has a few opportunities to carry it right up the middle like that. Key is to find a guy before they find you. McClellan, very aggressive again.
Go for the ball.
Brian Gardner's coming in. Will Morrison's headed out. McClellan's going to have to be careful, John. I think they probably are keeping an eye on him at this point.
Absolutely.
Looks like Regan's back in the center back, and Gardner's going to play the left side now. What do you think of that switch, John? Putting Will back in the center?
I like it. I think there's a number of players on the team that could be playing the center back as kind of a rest position. We talked about Nick Beagle playing the whole game. Nice position to put somebody in where you don't have to run up and down the field.
Penders, nice job in the air. All right, so Foxboro trying to stabilize here. Chris Amable looking for Brian Gardner on the far side, finds it, collects, gets it to Will Regan. He's got some space. McClellan, he's got some space to Cusack. This is what we have to see.
Yep.
Now to Beagle. Now Foxboro's transitioning.
Yep.
Nick can't quite get it over the Milford defense to Garcia.
You notice on that play, though, we keep the ball simple passes on the ground, and yet we lose possession with the more ambitious ball. I'd like to see the team just try and work it up the field and on the ground.
Yeah, here's the replay of what just happened there. I think what happened was the Milford player got stepped on by, by Matty Garcia. Referee chose to stop play for the injured player. It's going to give Foxboro a kick. Be nice to see a Foxboro capitalization right here. Joe Cusack on the ball, far post. Couldn't get it past anybody. Joe Cusack left foot. Shane Vandenboom trying fancy, falls to Beagle and he buries it.
Yes.
Nick Beagle up and down the field.
Yep.
Joe Cusack, as always, in on the play. Shane Vandenboom, big goal by Foxboro. Shane Vandenboom, heel, falls to a Milford defender who puts it right on the foot of Beagle, and he does not miss.
It was a beautiful shot because he hit it on the top of the foot. Wonderful technique there.
So, reset. 12 minutes into the second half. Foxboro on their heels much of the 12. Starts to level the field. Gets an opportunity with the kick, the direct kick from Joe Cusack. Puts it at the dangerous spot. A little helpful bounce off the Milford defender to Beagle, and he buries it. Next 5 minutes will be interesting.
Absolutely.
Nice play there by Ronnie McClellan. Hands were down, won the ball, knocked it out of trouble. Here's the goal one more time. Watch this, Shane Vandenboom, right heel. Milford defender falls to him, and he tees it up for Beagle, who does not miss.
Good team defense there by Foxboro.
Foxboro's in transition again now. Cusack
Beautiful
looking for
pass.
Shane Vandenboom. He's got Pereira far post.
Nice, and we'll get the corner. Beautiful pass, Joey Cusack.
Well, I think they gave a goal kick on that, John.
Oh.
Surprising to me as well.
Let's take a look at this. I thought it was
Cusack sees the field as well as anybody and leads Vandenboom perfectly. Yeah, the defender did knock it off him.
Good call by the referee.
Yeah.
Hats off to the refs. A couple times on the replay, we've changed our opinion there.
So fourth place Foxboro hanging with first place Milford in an important game for the Warriors. Shane Vandenboom looking for space. Two men on him, makes a great move through both of them. Looking for Vandenboom. Foxboro's got a little giddy up now, John.
Yes.
That goal might be just what the doctor ordered.
Absolutely.
Punt by the goalies out to the Foxboro back line. John McClellan trying to get in the way. There's Will Regan. Touches not quite there. Ball's to the top of the box. Cusack's fighting for it. Kind of a questionable call there in a very dangerous spot.
Very dangerous spot. This one's going on net, and number 11 will be taking it.
Joe Cusack called for the foul just outside the Foxboro box. Here's Cusack. He's got a little trip. Yeah, a little.
I thought 11 went down on his own.
Yeah, I think he did too. I thought that was very soft.
Yeah.
Very soft. And you know what? That's justice right there,
Right.
skying it over the top. Yeah, you know, you saw Joey get his leg in there to try to get the ball. And number 11, he felt the contact and he drew the call. All right, ball's played out to Brian Gardner, who's got space on the left side. And he puts the ball up through to Dylan Barrera's head. He finds Cusack, finds Beagle. Foxboro countering.
No.
Nick Beagle couldn't quite get it back to Shane Vandenboom. Now Will Regan one-on-one with the Milford striker. He's past Regan. Here comes Penders. He gets a hand on it.
Yeah. Oh.
Great play. Nick Penders over to gets it up to Joe Cusack. And now Matt Garcia in transition. Finds Dylan Barrera. Dylan's got some time. He's got two men on him. He's looking. He's cutting through both of them. He goes down on the ground, but the referee says no call. Play on. Milford coming back out. Cusack with the block. As soft as that call was for Milford a few minutes ago, Dylan Barrera could have easily drawn a call there at the top of the Milford box.
Well, special thanks from the Regan family to Nick Benders for bailing Willie out on that one.
Brian Gardner now in coverage. Not sure what the call was, but Brian will take the throw. He's looking for Vandenboom. Vandenboom's working hard. Draws a foul trying to collect the ball.
No, I don't want to see this.
Regan, tough time against a tough player, but Penders with two of his best saves I've seen all season here in the last 5 minutes. Coming off his line both times. Nice aggressive play.
Well, Willie got beat on that play, but the thing that is important to note is he kept after it. Sometimes you don't give up, you make the person take the shot quicker, but great save.
Milford takes a kick off of the Vandenboom foul, but promptly knocks it out of bounds. Gardner will throw it in.
Fans seem to be getting a little more lively on both sides as the game
Milford collects it from Beagle. McClellan called for another aggressive foul. Outside of the Foxboro box. You know, they're watching Ronnie at this point. Yep, it's a hip check, unfortunately, and that doesn't work.
Especially against a team so dangerous off set pieces as Milford.
Yeah,
you really need to
this is the way that Foxboro is coached, and it's going to cost us if we're not careful. Dangerous play here. You're right, John. Little chip in, looking for a connection.
Wow.
Fell through about 6 players, 3 from each team. Joe Cusack tracked it down in the corner and knocked it off a Milford player. And now Tim Bain will run over and take the throw in on his side. Ball's thrown right into the middle. Nick Beagle will rescue it. Get it over to Gardner on the left side. Plays it up to Vandenboom, can't connect. McClellan back to help Vandenboom. Milford's beating us to the touch there. Gardner recollects. He's got time, he's looking for Barrera. Comes down to Vandenboom, back to Barrera. And cleared out of trouble by Milford. Will Regan steps into it, gets it over to Timmy Bain. Back and forth here in the midfield. Chris Amable. And now Foxborough collects itself. Tim Bain gets it to Barrera. He's finding Vandenboom on the far left side.
Nice
Chip
ball.
to the corner. Vandenboom's going to have to hold it or wait for time. We'll see what he's got. Ball still on his foot. Turns. Opportunity. Matt Garcia just couldn't get a toe on it coming towards the net. Great play by Dylan to find his fellow striker, Shane Vandenboom, and a great cross by him. Garcia just a step behind as he really tried to lunge the toe out there and knock it past the Milford keeper. John, I'd say Foxboro's weathered that early second half storm.
I was just thinking that they're marveling at the second wind to some of the players, Maddie and Shane, really impressed.
Joe Cusack plays in a dangerous corner. Gardner and Beagle there. Beagle wins that header. Puts it just wide. Just about halfway through the second half. A great game. Great game considering that the first game was 4-0 Milford.
Oh, absolutely.
Guess who won the ball in the air there, John?
Don't have to guess.
Number 15 in blue, Nick Beagle. Milford throw. Beagle plays up. Barrera looking for Garcia up in the corner. He's got him down the right side. Maddie's one-on-one in coverage. Cuts it to the left. And a second Milford defender gets in the way and knocks it out. Dylan Barrera does such a good job at facing the ball as it's coming upfield toward him, chesting it down, and then making the flick up into the corner.
Absolutely, and he's really nice at turning and shooting. Has a really he scored on a turn from the left foot and the right foot. He can go either way. Very tough to defend.
Milford makes a substitution, and they get ready to take another goal kick.
Thank you.
5 guys back, 6 back for Foxboro, including Joe Cusack for this goal kick. Ron McClellan wins it. Matt Garcia, Joe Cusack doesn't quite connect with Shane Vandenboom. Gardner up, Gardner wins it.
Oh, nice play.
Now he's got a little space, and he's got the ball. Then he's at the top of the box. He's looking for a shot. Just dribbles in, but
felt bad from there. There was no one really to pass to. The marking on Milford that time was really strong.
Nice job by Bry taking the space. Now it falls to Regan. We've got a little press box. Rooting going on up here. Timmy Bain. Barrera working hard. Barrera works hard every game.
Well, we are broadcasting on Foxboro Cable, so we can have a little, a wee bit of home. Right?
Works for me, John. Both teams with enough guys back each time. Brian Gardner looking for Barrera, looking for Garcia.
Brian's added a lot of energy to the second half, and I think that shows the value of a fresh body in there.
And it's given your guy a little time to catch his breath, which is nice, like you said, too. So Matt Garcia plays a shot in off the Milford back. Milford defender's back, falls to their keeper, who promptly punts it directly out of bounds. Milford might be just a little frazzled at the moment. Bain in for Barrera, head ball, looking for Garcia. Garcia can't collect away from the defenders. Tim Bain stepping up nicely. Shane Vanderboom, another heel. He's loving that heel play today. Doesn't quite connect with Beagle. Ron McClellan now back in nice position. Milford
nice
working it through their forward line. And now Milford's brought it up and collected it and has some numbers. Joey Cusack again throws his arms around the player. Can kind of see that, John. Tough. He's big size disadvantage for Joe, but watch him get an arm here around the player right there. That's easy to see too. So
let's hope the marking holds here.
Yeah, this will be interesting. I think shot, John, or
no?
A chip?
This is going to either 10 or 11 or 16 or 11. Excuse me. This is not a shot.
You're right. It's a chip right to Joe Cusack. Heads it out. Matt Garcia's got it, and he's got some space. He's looking for Vandenboom. Put it up into double coverage. Dylan Barrera running hard on it. Shane's got. He's got Matt Garcia coming left. If he sees him, he goes back to Barrera. Barrera slots it in.
Yeah.
Nice play, and Foxboro gets the lead for the first time this match.
Well, as I was saying earlier, Dylan Barrera so opportunistic. Shane Vanderboom never getting up. The second wind, the endurance of these players in front. Wow.
Shane Vanderboom with an excellent cheeky pass, left foot. As Matt Garcia was part of that play too, because he was making that run down the left side. Vanderboom went toward the left, and then without even looking, played the left foot back to his right and found Barrera in stride. The Milford keeper nearly had the save. It went underneath him, and Barrera with enough to pick up another goal. Great combination, and Foxboro with the 2-1 lead.
As we said at the top of the broadcast, Milford's only given up 6 goals all year in 10 previous games, and they have never given up 2 goals or more in a game. So we're the first team to put 2 on.
Little cheer here as the undefeated girls varsity from Foxboro has arrived for their evening match. The second one of the doubleheader tonight, brought to you by Foxboro Cable Access. While I have a minute, I want to give a shout out to our guys at Foxboro Cable who do such a great job Great job supporting all of our community sports. All right, here's the goal. Vandenboom wins against 2 players and starts to go to his left. There's Garcia. Vandenboom with a nice slot into Barrera, stays on sides and gets just enough to the keeper's right that he can't react in time to make the save. And Foxboro, 65 minutes into the match, goes up 2-1. Now what do we have from Milford for urgency? Foxboro can't let down. They got to play like it's an even game.
Well, we talked about the advantages for Milford in that they haven't had a game in 6 days and that they were subbing. Advantages for Foxboro, it's senior night, and these seniors want to win.
Misplay there by Chris Amiable, but Will Regan, Johnny on the spot, knocks it back, out of bounds, lets Foxboro get back. Foxboro's going to have to weather the next 5 minutes. I'm sure Milford's going to have a little urgency here. Long throw in, falls to Gardner, who clears.
Nice.
Bain ahead. Falls back in by Milford, bouncing around. Penders is way out of his box.
Ooh.
I think that was Amiable who got the touch.
Yep.
Foxboro survived some dangerous moments there. Cusack puts one almost up into the press box.
Nice head away by Chris Amiable. I know Coach likes him in that middle and the back because of his heading ability. One reason.
Yep. That's out off of Milford, I thought. Referees disagree. So another dangerous long throw here. Foxboro's got to stay with their marks. Nick Beagle, Air Patrol. Everybody's in coverage. Regan's got a little space if he needs it. I think that ball was won by Air Beagle. Barrera's on it. Can't get rid of it in time. They're still on him. Dylan working hard. Knocks it out off of Milford. Nice play, number 10, Foxboro.
Savvy play by Dylan. Has an enormous soccer IQ, just like his dad.
And his brother played on the same field. .13.5 to play in this one. Foxboro with the 2-1 lead. Interesting to see, John, how many numbers Foxboro commits back. If they commit an extra or if they try to keep the ball pressured upfield.
That's a great point. And again, last night's game, we stayed with the same thing with the late 1-goal lead. And I think it did cost us. But I think here, you see already with Nick dropping a little further than usual.
Milford now playing it down to the corner. Gardner's there.
Nice.
Knocks it upfield. Another Milford player. Takes the spin, headed back down toward the corner flag. Gets across. Penders.
Nice save.
That a boy, Nick Penders, growing up in this game.
Is that a especially fabulous
Watch that ball come down, get a great shot in,
nice.
And Penders was in position, right hand up and over the bar. Textbook.
corner? Big moment here.
Yep.
Very
put in on a line. Penders with a save, knocked back and in. Penders out off his line, got a hand on it, fell to a Milford player. Too much pace on that ball. And Milford levels it with 12:20 to go in the match. Low driven shot. Penders out. McClellan couldn't quite get there in time. Little unlucky where that save fell, John.
Absolutely. Milford's been playing the corners all night to the near post, and it finally paid off for him.
Now we'll see how Foxboro responds. Oh. Tim Bain gives up possession. Milford now attacking. No trouble for Regan back there. Penders could have come out and got that one, chose not to, so Regan has to play it up into trouble. Will Regan, nice defense there. Took it right off the player's foot. Milford with the upper hand here the last few minutes. Milford with a lovely setup in front of the top of the box, and Will Regan with a great deflection. Penders collects, plays it out here near side Tim Bain. Bain's on the push, cuts it back. Finding Beagle. Now Beagle with that 20 yards of space he usually has. Right up to Vandenboom. Vandenboom left side. Back to Gardner. Looking. Spins. Puts it up into the corner. Nobody there. Vandenboom and Chase. Little chip up the middle. Will Regan right foot. Gardner can't keep it in. Milford at midfield. Milford, nice touch through the middle. Matt Garcia back to help.
Good
Milford collects it again. Ball's in the middle. There's Beagle driving it down the field. Inside at 10 minutes now here in the match. 2-2, hard fought, both teams. Ronnie McClellan with a head on it. Nice job, Nick Beagle. Can't get it past the Milford players. Milford's moving without the ball a little better right now than Foxboro. Chip up, McClellan. Milford collects, top of the Foxboro box.
Get a shot off.
Chris Amiable. Got position, chip into the middle. Ronnie McClellan. Back to
Not the kid.
Joe Cusack with a block. Joe Cusack again. Foxboro surviving some pressure there. Now Foxboro trying to transition. Vandenboom slows it down. Finds Brian Gardner. Plays it up looking for Barrera. Barrera with the head looking for Vandenboom. And it slides out of bounds.
Shaky moments there for Foxboro.
Got an injury. We got Chris Amiable came up a little limp there on that last Milford pressure down right in front of Nick Penders. And I think the last senior on the bench, Dan Lowy's going to get in. Good for Dan Lowy. So we got Dan Lowy and Will Regan in the center back, Brian Gardner and Tim Bain on the outside backs, Nick Beagle playing almost like a fifth defender in that central defensive mid position.
I think we've got to keep a special attention to number 11, the Milford forward. He was open for a shot or two last time, earlier in this half, and I think we've been very fortunate. But don't lose sight of him. You can see where so many times Milford is looking for him, and so we want to defend that.
Will Regan, a great ball to the top of the Milford box. Falls to a Milford foot. Now here's Lowy, first action. He go right by. Will Regan's there, gets a nice deflection of the ball. Tim Bain's on it. Beagle and Chase. Beagle wins it. Vandenboom would come back to help, so he's not up there to collect that ball. Barrera can't quite slow down the Milford. Well, he can slow him down that way. Back to a part of the game here, John, where Milford's got a little quicker step.
Right, I think they're starting to win most all of the 50-50 balls in midfield.
Seems like that 2-1 lead that Foxboro took, it seemed to get Milford's attention.
You kind of sense that too. You made a point right when it happened to see how Milford would respond, and they certainly have responded.
So 7 minutes to go in this one, 7.5. Got a ball going to be played into the top of the Foxboro box.
Nope.
Gardner with the head. Garcia, shoulders, no call from the ref, and now Garcia with a ton of space. Ooh, puts it out a little too far in front.
That showed a little too much of the ball.
And now Milford coming back the other direction. Regan and Lowy do a nice job protecting Nick Penders on that one. Milford definitely.
Joey Mannon for Milford coming up.
Basler and Chase. Basler still in chase. Cut back. Tim Bain able to collect outside. Should just clear it. Instead it gets deflected to Lowy. Foxboro surviving, hanging on. A point against Milford would be a big one on senior night.
Certainly a big one. Put us closer to that playoff spot.
Whatever energy they've got left, John, they need to bring it. Joe Cusack collects and puts the ball up to Shane Vandenboom. All 11 players for Foxboro were deep on that play. Dan Basler knocks it a little too far out of bounds. Ronnie McClellan now in a battle. Will Regan able to come over. Nice play, prevents the corner kick and gets a nice foot up to Cusack. Takes a bad play off of him. Gives it back to Milford.
Oh.
Basler's in chase again. Regan's there. Your boy, he's going to have to be big in the next few minutes, John. John, one of the interesting things I noticed, Dylan Barrera is off the field, and they got Dan Basler in. And I'm not sure why Dylan's off. It looks like he's waiting to come back in over at midfield.
So we have a Milford corner now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Brian played it off his head. It looked like Nick was going to come and get it, and it looked like somebody said don't. But it's clearly out off of Brian's head. So now Milford's going to have another dangerous kick. Yeah. Corner, here it comes. A little higher this time. Looking for number 11. He missed it. Tim Bain now in chase. Played back and deflected. And another corner. Under 5 to play here at Foxboro. Dangerous moments for the Warriors. They've done a terrific job. Terrific job hanging in here. Here's the corner. Falls to 11. He can't play it. Bain wins it, but gives it up. Falls right out and driven low, and
Let's
couldn't tell.
If Milford plays it to the near post. They've been doing it all night. Nope, they're going far post here. That's the first time they've gone far post.
Tim Bain in chase, and I think he blocked it. Another corner. Third corner in a row. Here it comes. And Milford tries to hit that same low liner they scored on. And he hit a knuckler that knuckled behind the Foxboro goal out of bounds. Will Regan should take just a second. Sorry, John. Take just a second here and collect ourselves. Go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say that's the kind of Milford corner we like.
Yeah.
And you're right. Foxboro has to think about preserving the point. Point very important for us for the playoff picture.
Now we've got a Milford player driving in. Beagle gets a flick. A deflection, I should say, and Penders comes off his line to grab that one. Now take a minute here, Nick. Nope, we're going to air it out quickly to the far side to Tim Bain. Okay play, because he's got space and he's got Beagle. Beagle looking for Garcia and knocks it out of bounds. We're at 3 minutes at this point. Milford with the urgency. Foxboro hanging on. 2-2. Dan Lowy fighting for the ball. You can hear Will Regan calling for it, but he finds Matt Garcia. Garcia up to the corner. Barrera's got to come to the ball on that one.
Well, they're speeding up the throws. Foxboro playing a win.
Yep. Like that, Barrera trying to make a move around the outside. Instead, the defender makes a move on him, and here he comes with Barrera and chase. Bain steps up nicely. Cleared out of trouble. Gardner wins the header. Milford collects. Beagle. Vandenboom has Beagle behind him. If he can use that heel again, doesn't work. Cusack. Beagle again.
I think good no call by the ref on that play.
Yep.
I think the Milford player really.
Cusack in chase. Timmy Bain. Dan Lowy. And Will Regan to clear it out. Down to 2 minutes.
Yeah, give Daniel Lowy credit here. He's got his hands full.
Yep.
Tiger by the tail, comes in off the bench and has been doing a strong job.
Absolutely.
Just hope we can hold off.
2 minutes to play here, John. Official time on the field. Ball's going back to Foxboro way now. Vandenboom looking for Barrera.
Nice ball.
Barrera's got an opportunity. Cut out by the Milford D. Down into the corner. Foxboro would like to go. Foxborough would like to keep it down here for a while.
Absolutely. They can't score from down there, and maybe we can.
Great effort here by the Foxborough Warriors. Under 2 to play. Shouldn't be a lot of stoppage time, John. I don't think we saw a whole lot of reason for that. Taking our time, Joe Cusack, very smart, tying his shoe.
Yeah.
Here comes the throw in deep.
Oh.
Barrera with a nice throw. Foxborough going to try to keep it down here. Tim Bain, top of the box. Tries to slot it to Barrera. Doesn't quite work. And now Foxborough's got to drop bodies.
That was a great idea by Tim Bain.
Drop bodies, and here we go quickly on the play. Lowy misses the header. Regan gets a foot on it. Cusack to Bain, and he can't quite make the play. Milford senses the last couple of opportunities here, puts a long throw in. Bain wins a header, knocks it out of bounds. Milford picks up 40 yards on the play, and now you got to watch out for the long head.
You got to watch out for the long throw.
The long throw, excuse me. Nick Beagle trying to win it, can't. Milford, opportunity.
Too much space.
Put the ball in up near Penders.
Oh.
Penders got back just far enough. Just far enough.
Nice shot by the Milford player.
Penders should take his time here. Finds Tim Bain. Tim Bain's got time. He's surveying, and he's looking for the corner. Can't quite connect, drives it out of bounds. By my time, John, we've had a minute and a half go by since the 2-minute showing on the clock. Exciting game here from the Ahern Middle School.
Very exciting game.
Milford playing it back upfield. Will Regan's going out and chase.
Watch 11.
Penders out aggressive. Sliding save, stays in his box, and slow it down, Nick.
Very dangerous moment for Foxborough. Lost track of number 11, and you don't want to do that.
Gardner with the ball. Looking for Vandenboom, out of bounds. Milford throw, Gardner wins the header. Vandenboom's trying to defend, can't, loses his man. They're coming through now. Nick Beagle knocks it out of bounds. Here comes another dangerous throw for Milford.
Is it time yet?
Long throw in. Penders aggressive. Fingertip save. Nick Penders. Long throw in. Penders way out of his box. Watching the replay, I missed the call, John. I don't know if it was offsides or a push.
No, a push, and a little surprising there. Given what they've let go.
I hear 30 seconds being called from the field. By my watch, it's been 3 minutes now. Milford put one into the top of the Foxborough box. Lowy gets a little nose on it.
Let that kid
Ball to the dangerous player. Regan, left foot deflection. Nice job, Willie. Big clear out.
Nice hustle, Manny. What a play. Oh.
And there's the final whistle. Foxborough Warriors hosting first place Milford earn a very hard-fought 2-2 tie here on senior night. John, your thoughts?
Wow. Just so impressed with the energy and fight of Foxborough. I think senior night brought out the best in them. I think that final play with Maddie diving in and almost stealing the ball is emblematic of the great effort by all the Foxborough players tonight. And congratulations to Milford as well on their season. This was a very exciting and terrific game.
I agree, John. Very exciting game here. I saw Nick Penders with perhaps his best game in net. The young sophomore netminder made a number of big, solid, aggressive saves. Nick Beagle, we talked about his name the whole time.
Yep.
The forwards did a nice job. The defenders did a nice job. And, you know, as you said, Milford only given up 6 goals. They've now given up 8. So we got 2 off of them. That's pretty good. That's a pretty tough defense. So Milford falls to overall 8-1-3. Foxborough picks up an impressive point and moves to 5-5-3. Any last thoughts, John?
No, just really happy for the boys to get that tough point on senior night again. Always want the win, but that point could be crucial in the race to qualify for the state playoffs.
I agree. So, on behalf of Foxboro Cable, Mike Weber, Executive Director, Mike Everson, our Director in the truck today, Matt Shea, Rob Decker, our Foxboro Soccer Booster volunteers, manning the cameras. I'd like to say thank you to all for tuning in for this game. On behalf of John Regan, this is Bruce Gardner from Foxboro Boys Soccer. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Nice job, fellas. Good work.